Hey there, welcome to my Breeo accessory review video. A couple years ago, I did a solo stove Breeo comparison just like this with the same whiteboard, single take. It was just for fun. It got 100,000 views. Snarky comments were great, questions were great. So I had a ton of fun, so now I'm reviewing all of the accessories I've gotten over the last couple years since that original video. So what I'm gonna do is go one by one and just tell you about the accessory, and then I'll tell you my ranking at the end on which ones I think you should buy if you can only buy a couple. Also want to mention I just did a review of the newest, which is the heat deflector, so I'll put a link in the comments or somewhere, I'll put a link somewhere so you can check that out. But let's go ahead and start at the top. So the lid. So I think the Breeo lid is a must-have. It's like a massive shield. It's like Captain America with this thing. And what it does is it sits on top, it keeps the fire pit dry, and most importantly, it just looks great. I don't have the plastic vinyl cover because I like how the patina finish looks like on my deck, and with the cover on top, it looks great. This thing's been outside in the New England weather for years, and you can see it just looks great. There's nothing, you know, leaves aren't getting stuck to it and staining it or anything. It looks phenomenal. So, huge win on the lid. The second one is the Breeo base. And I don't know if you can see that in the video right now, can you? No, you can't. So the Breeo base is there. Let me tell you about the base. So I previously had this on 4 patio blocks on the grass, and it actually burned through the patio blocks and burnt the grass. I moved the patio blocks to the deck, which is an older deck that needs to get replaced, but it kind of charred the wood under the blocks. So if you're gonna put this on grass, a deck, asphalt, one of my friends has like an asphalt driveway, and you could smell the asphalt kind of like cooking under it. So he got one of the bases, and that doesn't happen anymore. So if you're putting this on anything other than cement, get the base. I think cement, it doesn't really bother it much, but I have heard about people getting cracks. So the base is a must-have. Just get the base. So that's the other must-have accessory. Now, one thing that I kind of resisted for a while, but for my birthday this year, I got one of these, which is the Breeo gloves. Now, I figured, you know, it just must be marketing, right? Like, why are they more expensive than the hardware store gloves? Well, they're hardware store gloves. You can't touch this metal for very long on this or on the grill without it going through. The Breeo gloves are longer, which is nice, but more importantly, this black leather has, I think it has like 2 layers to it, so you've got more touch time. Again, listen to Breeo about safety on what to do and not to do with these gloves, but I am pleasantly surprised by these gloves. Like everything Breeo makes, it should last quite a while. So the way I rationalize it is one pair of these will probably last, you know, twice as long as one of those cheaper pairs from the hardware store. So gloves, not a must-have, but if you have the accessories that use hot metal, especially the grill, if you want to be adjusting that while you cook, I'd say go with some gloves. Okay, now I'll talk about the next few together, okay? So I had bought the Breeo X19 when the sear plate was installed, and I have to tell you, I didn't think I'd use it much. We use it all the time, but the way we use it isn't cooking gourmet meals. We'll be having friends over, and we'll say, hey, let's make some quesadillas, and we'll just spray some olive oil on there and throw them on. You know, fold them once, throw them on, and it's super fun. We'll have like deli sandwiches, and we'll just like, you know, put them on here and make them like paninis. And again, you just kind of put it on and have a good time. The only challenge with that is because it's so damn hot, you have people that might have had a couple of cocktails pulling paninis off of a hot piece of metal. There is a chance of someone getting burned, so it doesn't always feel that safe. That's where the grill comes in, where I think if you have the grill, you're a little bit further away from the fire. It just doesn't feel as intense. So the grill feels a little safer if you're just doing it kind of ad hoc with some friends having drinks. Now, if you're a chef, you might want to opt for the grill and the sear plate. If you already have a sear plate and you're not a chef, you probably don't need the grill, right? But if you don't have a sear plate or a grill, I think it's going to be a tough decision between the two. It's really personal preference. I'll talk more about that later. So grill and sear plate, more usable than I thought when I first got this, but all in all, I think you get the point. The heat deflector. Now, if you live in New England and you're not a cook, and you don't really enjoy cooking that much, I'd go for the heat deflector if you live in a cold place, because you're gonna get way more heat on your legs, and I do a whole review on this, but if I'm not a serious cook, I'm gonna get into the heat deflection before I get into the sear plates or the grills. And then finally, spark screen. So this is another one which it depends on your use case. So I actually have a deck with some couches on it, And you don't get a lot of sparks with the Breeo, but sometimes I load it up before friends are coming, I light it, and then I go and get other stuff ready, and then I come back and I find a little burn mark on a couch, and that's a bummer. So I don't have the spark screen, but if you have couches, not hard chairs, I would definitely say, if you have couches and you don't watch the fire every minute, if you're having parties and whatnot, get the spark screen. That is a great buy. The other reason why I didn't get it is we always end up using the sear plate, and the spark screen sits on the sear plate, so now we're moving spark screens and whatnot. So I'm okay not having it, but you know, if I get new couches, I'll probably get the spark screen too, so I don't put any holes in them. So, so that's really the question, right? So now if I do my full review, lid, base, gloves, must-haves. And I think it's in that order, right? Now, when it comes to the other toys that you can get for your Breeo, if you get a couch, get the spark screen. If you're not that much of a cook, I'd say go for heat deflector if you're in a cold place. And if you are a strong cook, well then you're gonna have to decide between grill, sear plate, or both. If you get the cash and you like to cook, I'd say go both. If you're more casual like me, it's hard for me to say because my sear plate's installed. I use it a lot. I think if I had one of the sear plates you had to add on, I'd probably use the grill most. So if you had to go grill or sear plate as an add-on, I would probably go grill. If you're not a cook and you have a sear plate installed, I think you're probably okay from a cooking standpoint. Just get in on that. So hope this was a helpful accessory review. You might want to watch my unboxing and my review of the heat deflector. I'll put links to those. And if you want to see the 100,000 view video that kicked all of this off, it's a little outdated, but it still gives a solid review of Breeo versus Solo Stove at that fundamental level of the quality of manufacturing and just the innovation of the US made brand. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope it was helpful. Go buy someone a nice gift from Breeo. Catch you later.